Hey, is it just me, but does anyone else hate painting? After doing it for so many years, I'm tired of it, but somehow I end up painting all the time. I think it's just the prep work. The prep work takes way longer than the actual painting, I swear. And I like a good, clean, professional job, so making sure that the tape is nice. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jorge if you're new here. This is part 2 of my living room makeover videos. If you saw part 1, I shared the before, kind of walked around the living room, also shared my mood board, the direction I'm going to be going with, and started off with the front entry sort of makeover, painted the door black. I think I'm going to paint the other one black as well, but we'll get to it here in a moment. Today's video is going to focus all about painting the space, and we're not just going to paint it, we're actually going to Limewash, which you know I love. I did it in my bathroom earlier this year. I absolutely love it, so we're going to extend that into the living room. We're going to go in a slightly different direction, which I'll share soon, but buckle up, let's get into today's video. So here's our holes. I'm going to use this stuff, Dry Drex. This stuff like dries white after it is ready to be painted or sanded. I'm just going to take my finger, I probably should wear gloves, and so you literally just dab it in there and kind of smooth it out, and your holes will disappear. Because if you use a putty knife, you're going to fill the concavities and then it'll just look like a patched up hole. Fun fact, in college, I once used white toothpaste and it worked. Don't tell anyone. Let's go ahead and unmount these curtains and curtain rods. We're gonna go in a different direction with the curtains. This one's actually already falling. It's about to fall. That's kind of crazy. Really quickly, so there's 3 windows here. Here I actually decided to put 1 curtain in the middle because it's 3 windows, but I don't know, it's just a little heavy with the curtains, and we also have some in the work space, the office. Yes, the boob light's still there. But in the next iteration, the curtains that I got are actually wider. So I'm not gonna put one in the middle, I'm just gonna do the wider ones on the side. This will create the illusion of it being a larger window. And of course, you know, the matching curtains for the other windows. Plant's doing okay. The new leaves have like these brown spots. I asked on Instagram, a lot of you said this is normal for new leaves, but it goes away. Let's hope so. What should I name my plant? Turns out I don't have a roller. I don't know what happened to it, so I gotta go get another one.
Yeah, like a few.
Limewash paint, definitely a hot topic right now. Some might even call it trendy. But did you know that Limewash can be traced back hundreds, thousands of years? I think even to like ancient Egypt, if not mistaken. And that stuff is amazing because Limewash is non-toxic. It's more environmentally friendly than traditional paint, and it looks amazing. I used it in my bathroom a few months ago. Maybe you saw that video, and it really took it to the next level. It made it feel just more artisanal. It gave it some more dimension and kind of a wabi-sabi aesthetic that I personally love. So we're gonna extend that into this space. Color Atelier is kindly providing some paint for today's project. I probably should have ordered some paint samples, but they have this paint sample deck of different colors, and this helped me narrow down the colors. Maybe you might not even see on camera. I'll put some photos, but the colors that I'm going with is Plateau and Old White. And the reason I say colors is because we're gonna create sort of that dimension. Since I'm sticking to white, we wanna create a little bit of dimension. So for the base coat, they recommended I go in with something darker. So Plateau will be the base coat, and then I'll be topping it off with the color Old White. And that's gonna create sort of that velvety effect, very luxurious, but very kind of wabi-sabi at the same time. Since these walls are drywall, painted drywall, I do need a special primer. It needs to be, I think, an acrylic-based primer. For this space, I'm gonna use Color Atelier's primer. And this stuff has very low VOCs, so we're gonna go ahead and do this, and then we're gonna move on to the Limewash paint. I do have to say, these walls have sort of this orange peel texture to them, and a lot of people, and even in my hall bath, I skim coated everything, made them smooth. I'm not gonna do that here. I'm just going to embrace the texture because I love it. and hopefully it works out and looks good with the Limewash, which is something that I don't typically see. Hold on, we gotta fix this. Okay, so the primer has dried, the sun has set, but I want to keep working through. I put the studio lights up. I want to apply the first coat of the Limewash paint. I'm going to start off with the darker one. This one is called Plateau. And with Limewash paint, you essentially want to constantly mix between each coat, or every couple of coats, or each application I should say. We're going to use this large paint brush, as you can see, to apply. Technique is kind of interesting because, well, I'll show you actually. As I've said, I'm no pro here. This is my second time doing it, and honestly there's a lot of great YouTube videos that explain how to apply this. Good thing about Limewash paint is that it's very forgiving. Essentially you want to create sort of large clouds and extend them as much as possible. Make sure that you mix up the paint in between, because you don't want any of the chunks to form at the bottom, and you just want even distribution of the color and kind of just work around the room. I hope that helps, but again, lots of great resources out there. Even Color Atelier, I think, has a YouTube channel that shares some tips on how to apply some Limewash. Well, hello. The first coat of Limewash has dried overnight. It's looking really good. My first thought when I walked in this morning was like, oh crap, this is very creamy, but it's the first coat, it's the darker coat. Today we're gonna apply the lighter coat, which the color is Old White, I believe. It's gonna brighten up the space a little bit more and get into that white spectrum that I'm going for. I think it's, first impressions, I really love just the charm, the character that it has. It's definitely looking more interesting. So let's go ahead and do the second coat of Limewash, and then we'll go on to the next step. The second coat goes pretty much the same as the first one, but one thing I'm just trying to remember is to not go so heavy with it, because again, I want that darker paint to sort of go through with it. This almost reminds me of watercolor. We don't want it to be too opaque. I feel like capturing the Limewash texture on this is a little bit challenging, so I'm going to turn down the brightness so you can actually see. It is looking so nice. I'm very impressed with the paint. So remember, I used Plateau, the darker color underneath, and then I went over with Old White by Color Atelier. Seriously, such a great alternative to just paint. It really makes a difference. So I'm going to show you some footage here of what it's looking like now. Might be hard to tell because it's, number one, cloudy and it's white, so maybe the camera doesn't capture that as well, but in person it really looks nice. I'm already thinking about the furniture, the decor that I'm going to be putting up. So let's go ahead and put up the curtain rods and then move on to the front entry. Now, I don't do design by vote, but I was just curious to see what people's thoughts were on painting this white door behind me. Yeah, I know. The white door behind me, I'm leaning towards black, and I asked on Instagram what people thought. Most people agreed with black. I feel like black is gonna really make it feel more cohesive, at least with the door. And I'm trying to make the black hardware disappear. And so black on black look, I think is gonna look really nice, especially with the rug that I ordered, as well as the new light. So let's go ahead and paint the door black. So these are the switch covers that were on here before. I ended up ordering these brushed brass ones. I really like the look of them, especially when paired with the new black door and hardware, and I also did it on the side. So I think it's going to really tie in together once that new light fixture goes in, but pretty good. I have something fun to share with you. So I just received this package. For the last couple of months, I have been looking for some new pulls for the built-in. These are fine, but I want something that will work well with my new design, and these, check out these beauties right here. These checkered pulls are so cool, or knobs I should say. They are oversized, which I think is gonna look nice here. It has this checkered board detail, which I kind of been obsessed with checkered board ever since I did that DIY stone checkered board. I don't know if you saw that video. I think it's unlacquered brass and handmade. All of these are actually handmade. So each checkerboard is hand painted, which I think is so special. So cannot wait to put them on there. I'm probably gonna have to patch up the bottom hole since I'm only gonna use the top hole, but let's go ahead and put them on there. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. Maybe it's a short one, who knows? But I think we're gonna wrap up with giving my trim a fresh coat of paint. I feel like it's such a simple thing. Well, it's a simple thing, but of course, you know, it could be some trouble. But it really makes a difference, especially even if you're not remodeling a space. A fresh coat of paint, in this case, since it's white, fresh coat of white paint will really just make it look a little bit more polished. And it's been a few years, honestly. So I'll give you a time lapse of just, you know, painting the trim, but come back next week because I'm gonna share some DIYs for the space. I want some new wall art and maybe lamp DIY, we'll see. But make sure that you come back next week. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and we're so close to that final living room tour. Sometimes I like to freehand, but I'm not feeling risky today, so I tape everything down. I always like to use a foam roller just to get it as smooth as possible, or a really fine brush.